Hey folks, Saksham this side from AceIPM. IIM Rohtak's IPM 2024 notification as well as forms are finally out. In this video, we are going to have a detailed discussion in terms of what is there in the notification and also how to go about filling the form. So without any further ado, let's begin. Now, the notification mostly remains the same as last year's, only the dates have been changed. So first of all, in terms of the eligibility criteria, for general, NC-OBC and EWS category candidates, minimum 60% is required in their 10th as well as 12th, which is the best of 5 of the subjects mentioned in their mark sheet. For SC, ST and PWD candidates, that becomes 55% in both 10th as well as 12th. The age criteria remains same for all the categories, and that is you need to be maximum 20 years of age as of June 30, 2024. So that would basically mean that you are born on or after June 30, 2004, and only then you are eligible for this particular examination or for this particular college. Every college has its own, age criteria. So you will have to check for IIM Indore, IIM Ranchi, Bodh Gaya, Jammu and other BBA colleges separately. This is only valid for IIM Rohtak. Now, first of all, as I mentioned, in your 10th and 12th marks, the way you have to calculate the percentage of both is by the aggregate of the best 5 subjects. So even if your mark sheet had 6 subjects mentioned, you will only take the best of 5 wherever you have gotten the best scores. For people who are coming from CBSE board, in their class 10th mark sheet, there are certain additional extracurricular subjects that are mentioned where only grade points are given and not the marks. You don't have to consider those. You only have to consider those 5 or 6 subjects जिसके आपने exam भी दिए हो. So that is how it is going to be like. And yes, this is irrespective of board's regulation. Even if your board mandates कि आप सारे subject का aggregate लें, that is not going to be applicable here. Only best of 5 will work. And for boards which are, some boards down south, they mention the marks of 11 subjects as well as 12 subjects in the final mark sheet of class 12th. In that case, I would ideally prefer that you take only the 12 subjects while calculating your best 5, or take, an approval from IIM Rohtak by asking their help desk before making any decision on that. Now coming to the registration part, as I mentioned, the forms are already out and the forms are going to be out till April 10th, 2024. Similar to last year, the last year also, the dates were similar. In terms of the examination, it will be held on May 18th, 2024 from 9 a.m. Again, last year, I think it was May 20. This year it's 18, but the time remains the same. Now, in terms of the, exam itself, there are 3 sections that you are going to have, which is quants, logical reasoning, and verbal ability, 40 questions each. And over here, it mentions time duration of each section as 40 minutes each. But from 2019, from the time IIM Rohtak started its IPM program till today, every time they mention in their notification कि sectional time limit होगा, but in the actual exam आज तक तो नहीं आया है. Even if you look at the last year's video screenshot from AceIPM's video, last year also it was mentioned time duration for each section 40 minutes each, exactly the same. But last year भी कोई sectional time limit नहीं था. This year also, we expect that there won't be any time duration or like a time limit, sectional time limit, but hota bhi hai, so you need to be prepared accordingly. But we feel like as has been the trend for the last few years, it will continue this year as well, because the people who are making changes on the website, the administration people, they're only making changes to the dates, which change every year, but everything else, the format and everything, all the text that is mentioned above and beyond, all of that remains the same, which is why this has been carried forward from 2019. As is the case, standard marking +4 -1 will be applicable over here. So nothing changes over there. And if in case you are applying for IPL also, which is the integrated program in law, in that case, there's an additional 20 question section of legal reasoning, which will last for 20 minutes. यहाँ पर sectional time limit होता है, which is one section of QA LR VA of 120 minutes. And if in case people are applying for IPL, then for those people, they have to sit back in the exam center and they have to give that additional 20 question, exam also. So that is how it is going to work in terms of your examination. Now coming to the personal interview part, it is going to be held online, and to be eligible for the interview, you need to clear the minimum cutoff criteria, whichever is mentioned by the institute. So for last year, it was 309. It has 409. It has ranged between 256 in 2019 to 409 in 2023 for the general category candidates. The variation is very huge. It's mostly due to the fact that exam has become easier over time. But when you are preparing, you have to keep into account कि exam का difficulty वो 256 के कट ऑफ जैसा भी हो सकता है और 409 के कट ऑफ जैसा भी हो सकता है. I don't expect it to go any higher than 409, maybe 420 if it gets even easier this year. But उससे ज़्यादा तो ideally नहीं जाना चाहिए. So the cutoff ranges from these points. So you need to keep that into account whilst preparing. Like last year, the paper of IPMAT Rohtak was actually easier than JIPMAT. So, that is something for you to consider. You can also look at the 2023 summary to get an idea of the competition, which was of 14,000 odd candidates, and how many people qualified the cutoff, and so on and so forth. So that is how your interview shortlist is going to come out. It will come out ideally tentatively in the first week of June, and your interviews will be scheduled in the second week of June. That leaves you with about 7 to 10 days of preparing for the interview. So that is when you will be preparing for GK, HR questions, also your past academics for your interview. Then the rest of the details you can read, nothing very important over there, so I am going to skip that part out. In terms of the final selection, IIM Rohtak for this year as well as last year, they hadn't mentioned the final selection criteria, but in the year 2022 they did mention that. And if I take you to that page, so if you go on archive.org, you can look at any website's previous information, whatever has been mentioned by them. So in that case, you can see for 2022, this was the criteria, which was 45% weightage to your aptitude test score, 15% to your online interview, and 20% each to your 10th and 12th. So that is the criteria that IIM Rohtak has been following. Last year it wasn't mentioned. This year it hasn't been mentioned. But given that they haven't mentioned that there has been any change in terms of the selection criteria, we anticipate and we assume it to be the same for this year as well. Anyway, regardless of the admission criteria, you need to give your 100% to all the possible selection criteria metrics. For example, your aptitude test score, your interview, and your 12th score as well, if in case you're a 12th appearing candidate. So that is going to be there. In terms of refund policy, some people get into IIM Rohtak, later they get into IIM Indore. You have an option to apply for a refund on or before the date of registration. So by first week of August, you can avail an entire amount of refund by just paying the processing fee of 1,000 rupees. But the refund will come, to your account in about 5 to 6 months of time. The total number of seats has been set at 165 this year. Last year it was 180. However, the seat matrix is something which is I'd say tentative or like speculative, because usually IIM Rohtak इससे थोड़े से ज़्यादा बच्चे admit कर लेता है, because as and when the time passes, some people leave for IIM Indore or other colleges, other top colleges in DU, or maybe an IIT or an NIT. So in that case, they keep that buffer so that the final number of students when the admission closes and the classes start remains around 165. So that is how it has been like. So the batch size has always ranged from 150 to 220 in the last 4-5 years. So that's how, that's all that is mentioned in your admission handout or the notification. Now, if in case you want to apply, you need to click here to apply for IPM batch 06. जैसे ही आप click करेंगे, you will come to this page. You need to click on register here. Once you go on that, you will be greeted with this page where you have to mention all the details. सारी details please अपनी 10th mark sheet के हिसाब से डालें, be it your name or your date of birth or your father's name. So these things have to be as per your 10th mark sheet. So आपने name डाल दिया, अपना date of birth डाल दिया, which again अगर आप देखेंगे तो I don't think तो आपको ये 30 जून 2004 के पीछे की डेट सेलेक्ट नहीं करने देगा, बिकॉज दैट इज़ द एलिजिबिलिटी. यू नीड टू एंटर योर ईमेल एड्रेस एंड मोबाइल नंबर. प्लीज़ मेंशन समथिंग जो आप डेली बेसिस पे चेक करते हो, आपका नहीं तो आपके पेरेंट्स का, बिकॉज आपकी कोई भी इंपॉर्टेंट डिटेल आती है तो दैट विल बी कम्युनिकेटेड वाया ईमेल, सो दैट हैज़ टू बी एक्टिव. योर नेशनैलिटी, कंट्री ऑफ रेजिडेंस, जब आप ये सारी डिटेल्स डाल देंगे उसके बाद आप आई एग्री करके कैप्चा डाल देंगे, सबमिट कर देंगे, आपकी एक एप्लीकेशन आईडी एज वेल एज पासवर्ड जनरेट होके इट विल बी मेल्ड एज वेल एज SMS टू यू इन अबाउट 4 to 5 minutes ऑफ टाइम. बट व्हेन यू क्लिक दैट, आपका पोर्टल ऑटोमेटिकली लॉग्ड इन रहेगा, आपके पास यहाँ ये सारी डिटेल्स भरने का ऑप्शन आ जाएगा. सो आई जस्ट क्विकली गो थ्रू इट एंड मेंशन एनीथिंग विच इज़ इंपॉर्टेंट. अगेन आइडियली फादर्स नेम, मदर्स नेम अगर आपकी 10th 12th मार्कशीट में मेंशन है, गो अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट ओनली. Category में, if in case you're filling any category, you need to have an appropriate certificate for that as well. And in the case of NCOBC and I think SC/ST as well, आपका center का certificate is valid and not the state one. So that is going to be there. For EWS and NCOBC, the certificate में जो income वाला part होता है NCOBC का and EWS में, that has to be renewed every financial year. So after 31st of March, you will have to renew it and present it at the time of interview, if in case you qualify. So keep that in mind, that you are able to, you're able to renew the certificate as well. So that's what that's what you are going to be doing. Alternate number, mobile, email ID, again basic details. PWD as well, अगर आप यहाँ पर डालते हैं, yes करते हैं, तो आपके पास सर्टिफिकेट होना चाहिए. Your present address, and अगर present address permanent address सेम है तो yes करिएगा, no करेंगे तो आपको दूसरा एड्रेस डालने का ऑप्शन मिल जाएगा. IPL डिटेल्स, इफ़ इन केस आप यहाँ येस क्लिक करते हैं तो आपका एग्जाम 1 घंटा 20 मिनट का 2 घंटे के होने की जगह विच इज़ लाइक 120 मिनट्स 40 minutes each section as they mentioned, but there's no sectional time limit. So for normal people who are just applying for IPM, they're only going to be sitting in the exam center for 120 minutes. For people who are applying for IPL as well, they'll sit for 140 minutes because वो 20 minutes का legal reasoning का section भी आपके exam में add हो जाएगा. There's no additional fee for applying for IPL, but only apply if in case you're interested in a law degree. Because what I have seen in the last year was because IPM और IPL का एग्जाम यहाँ क्लब कर दिया था लास्ट ईयर भी, तो कुछ बच्चों ने जिन्हें जाना सिर्फ IPM में था, who were targeting IIMs for management only, they applied for IPL because there was no additional fee. But एग्जाम का जब रिजल्ट आया तो ना IIM रोहतक हुआ, ना IIM इंदौर हुआ, बाकी IIMs भी नहीं हुए. अब जो बच्चा शायद BBA कर सकता था, DU के किसी कॉलेज में जा सकता था, वहाँ से एक अंडर ग्रेड करने के बाद he would have sat for CAT for his MBA. Now he felt like कि अरे IIM रोहतक मिल तो रहा है चाहे कोई भी डिग्री हो, and they joined IPL instead, even though they had no affinity towards law as such. But just because they were getting that IIM tag, they they just let that succumb all their dreams and just go for the tag and not the degree per se, which I don't really recommend. You should go for IPL, yes, it's a good program, but only if in case you're interested in law. If you're not, please don't select yes over here. हाँ, अगर ग्रे एरिया है कि शायद जा भी सकते हैं नहीं भी जा सकते, तब आप yes कर सकते हो, but otherwise if you're clear कि करना management ही है, then please don't click yes over here. Once you have done giving all your information over here, click on save and next. Go to academic details. Over here you need to enter your 10th and 12th marks. अगर आप 12th अभी अपेयरिंग हो तो आप वो डालेंगे, फिर आपको 12th के मार्क्स डालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. बट अगर आपने 10th करी हुई है, 10th ऑफ कोर्स हमने करी हुई है ही, तो आप यहाँ पर अपने बेस्ट ऑफ 5 का एग्रीगेट लेंगे, विच इज़ इन माई केस 91.2%. और उसको आपको यहाँ नीचे 5 सब्जेक्ट का नाम डालना है और उनके मार्क्स ऑब्टेन्ड और मैक्सिमम मार्क डालना है. तो यहाँ जो आपका परसेंटेज आएगा और यहाँ जो आप परसेंटेज डालेंगे वो सेम होना चाहिए. दिस इज ऑल्सो बेस्ट ऑफ 5, दिस इज ऑल्सो बेस्ट ऑफ 5. ये आपने खुद कैलकुलेट करा है, ये वाला आपने सिस्टम से कैलकुलेट करा है, वो 5 टॉप सब्जेक्ट के नाम डाल के. अगेन ईयर ऑफ कंप्लीशन, स्कूल नेम वगैरह आप डालेंगे ही, but make sure it is best of 5 as is mentioned in the note. It is irrespective of board's regulation, applicable for both 10th and 12th marks, and best of 5 subjects will matter. प्लीज़ मेक श्योर आप इसको अच्छे से फॉलो कर रहे हो, बिकॉज काफ़ी लोगों का एडमिशन कैंसिल होता है क्योंकि वो बेस्ट ऑफ 5 से ज़्यादा डाल देते हैं, बेस्ट ऑफ 4 कंसिडर कर लिया, कुछ और कर लिया, तो उससे दिक्कत होती है. सो इन दैट केस प्लीज़ मेक श्योर इट इज़ बेस्ट ऑफ 5 ओनली. एंड अगर कोई भी कन्फ्यूजन है तो प्लीज़ ask the help desk. The toll free number as well as the email ID has been mentioned over here. अगर आपको रिप्लाई नहीं आता तो please keep on mailing, please keep on calling till you get an appropriate response, and keep a record of that response so that later अगर कोई discrepancy होती है, you can at least tell okay the college asked me to do so. So that is going to be there. तो आप यहाँ पर 10th का डाल देंगे. अगर आपने 12th कर ली है तो आप yes डाल के सेम डिटेल्स वहाँ भी फिल करेंगे, अदरवाइज आप no डालेंगे and you'll fill all the remaining things that it is asking for. मोस्टली आप लोग 12th करेंगे तो 12th डालेंगे, जिनका डिप्लोमा होएगा they'll mention it over here. सिटी प्रेफरेंस में that is the benefit of applying a little early. It will ask you for 3 preferences and basis of the availability आपको इनमें से 3 में से कोई एक प्रेफर्ड सिटी अलॉट हो जाएगी. बहुत जल्दी भी नहीं करना है आपको फॉर्म भरने में, बट हाँ आइडियली बिल्कुल लास्ट डेट तक का भी वेट मत कीजिए, थोड़ा बीच में कभी भर दीजिएगा. एंड प्रेफर्ड सिटी 1, 2, 3 में आप अपना प्रेफरेंस डाल सकते हैं. मोस्टली बच्चों को प्रेफर्ड सिटी 1 अलॉट हो जाती है, बट अगर सीट्स नहीं अवेलेबल हैं, ऑलरेडी फिल हो गया है, तो आपको 2 में शिफ्ट कर देंगे वरना 3 में कर देंगे. सो दैट इज़ हाउ योर सिटी प्रेफरेंसेज आर गोइंग टू वर्क लाइक. Also, as is mentioned over here, last date to apply is April 10, 2024, 11:55 PM. तो 12 बजे तक नहीं है अगर आप पेमेंट के लिए वेट करने का सोच रहे हैं. सो प्लीज़ मेक श्योर यू आर डूइंग इट well before that deadline. अब डॉक्यूमेंट्स में you have to upload your scanned passport size photograph. You have to make sure कि साइज़ का जो लिमिट है वो फॉलो हो रहा है 80 KB, एंड साथ ही में it has to be in a white background not more than 6 months old. So अगर मैं अपनी फ़ोटो दिखाऊँ, so this is how it will look like. Scanned copy of signature, again white background पे प्लीज़ साइन कर लीजिएगा एंड उसका फोटो क्लिक करके अप्रोप्रिएट साइज़ में जितना भी मैक्स साइज कह रहा है डाल दीजिएगा. यू कैन यूज शॉर्ट पिक्सल टू कंप्रेस योर फाइल्स अगर वो एक्सीड कर रहा है तो, और एनी अदर वेबसाइट आप गूगल पे करें डालेंगे तो बहुत सारी मिल जाएंगी. 10th की मार्कशीट जो है वो सेल्फ अटेस्टेड होनी चाहिए. एंड आई थिंक अगर आप 12th में भी कहते हैं कि मैंने 12th में ऑलरेडी क्लियर कर दिया, तो वहाँ आपसे 12th की मार्कशीट भी मांगेगा. बोथ ऑफ देम नीड टू बी सेल्फ अटेस्टेड. सेल्फ अटेस्टेड इज बेसिकली आपने मार्कशीट लिया, उसे स्कैन करके उसको प्रिंट आउट करा, प्रिंट आउट करने के बाद उस पर सेल्फ अटेस्टेड लिख के अपना साइन कर दिया एंड उसको आपको अपलोड करना है. जैसे एक एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पर है, ओके इट इज़ नॉट ओपनिंग एट द करंट मोमेंट. बट लेट मी जस्ट ट्राई. ऑल राइट, जो मैंने अपलोड करा है वो शायद अभी ओपन नहीं हो रहा है. बट बेसिकली आपने मार्कशीट लेना है, उसका फोटोकॉपी लेना है, फोटोकॉपी पे एक साइन करना है, सेल्फ अटेस्टेड लिखना है और अपलोड कर देना है. सो दैट इज व्हाट यू नीड टू डू ओवर हियर. स्कैन कॉपी ऑफ कैटेगरी सर्टिफिकेट, अगर आप किसी कैटेगरी से अप्लाई कर रहे हैं तो उसका सर्टिफिकेट भी आपको यहाँ डालना पड़ेगा. EWS NCOBC के केस में आपको रिन्यू भी करना पड़ेगा आफ्टर 31st ऑफ मार्च. सो मेक श्योर कि रिन्यूअल हो सकता है तभी आप यहाँ अप्लाई करें, बिकॉज बाद में कैटेगरी चेंज नहीं होती है. सारी डिटेल्स देखने के बाद प्रिव्यू कर लें, अच्छे से देख लें कि सारी डिटेल्स जो भी डाली हैं वो मैच हो रही हैं नहीं हो रही हैं. किसी और से करा लें, अपने पेरेंट्स से करा लें, अपने दोस्त से करा लें. जब सब कुछ हो जाए कि कंफर्म है कि एवरी सिंगल पीस ऑफ डिटेल इन्फॉर्मेशन दैट यू हैव एंटर्ड इज करेक्ट, इज ओनली व्हेन यू आर गोइंग टू सबमिट एंड पे द फी. बिकॉज एक बार फी पे कर लिया उसके बाद कोई चेंज अलाउड नहीं होते हैं. सो प्लीज़ मेक श्योर कि आप ऐसी गलती नहीं कर रहे हैं एंड यू आर चेकिंग एवरीथिंग बिफोर मेकिंग द पेमेंट. जब हो जाएगा यू जस्ट नीड टू क्लिक सबमिट, यहाँ पर कैप्चा डाल के इट आस्क फॉर पेमेंट, यू विल डू द पेमेंट एंड देन यू विल गेट अ कन्फर्मेशन फॉर दैट. अगर ऐसा होता है यू हैव मेड द पेमेंट बट यू डिड नॉट गेट द कन्फर्मेशन, इट स्टिल सेज पेमेंट पेंडिंग, प्लीज़ वेट फॉर अ कपल ऑफ डेज. इंस्टीट्यूट को भी उसके बारे में मेल कर दीजिएगा, कॉल कर लीजिएगा. अगर नहीं होता है, डेडलाइन पास आ रही है, तो एक और पेमेंट भी मार दीजिएगा. सो इन दैट केस जो आपका प्रीवियस पेमेंट है वो आइडियली आपको रिफंड हो जाएगा आपके बैंक अकाउंट में. सो प्लीज़ कीप दैट इन माइंड. एंड इसलिए आपको अप्रैल 10 तक नहीं खींचना है, थोड़ा पहले ही फिल कर लेना है. उससे फ़ायदा ये होता है कि अगर पेमेंट में कोई भी इशू आ रहा है सो एटलीस्ट यू विल हैव इनफ टाइम टू सॉर्ट दैट आउट एंड नॉट पैनिक एट द वेरी लास्ट मोमेंट. That being said, I hope this video was helpful. If in case you have any query about IIM Rohtak, IPM in general, you can leave it down in the comment section and we'll try to help you as much as we can. So that's about it. Have a good day. All the very best and bye-bye.